call. Yes. Uh-huh. Jeremiah 33. Verse 3. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. Oh. Now, which thou knowest not. Great and mighty things. See, when you have two dissolutions of marriage, yes, and you have the legal right to garnish the wages of the individual known as the respondent, poop, and you issue all those protection orders without any due process, without any protections of civil rights, yes, and your thought was, well, as soon as he gets his job, we're going to garnish his wages. Phew. And then I'm going to contact child support services and say, well, I paid child support. And you're going to say, no, you didn't. Oh! Because every time I change jobs, yes, excuse me, you're going to say I'm crazy. And then you're going to allege that I'm violent. Yes, I'm schizophrenic, bipolar, and delusional for knowing that yesterday I emailed you the actual evidence of two dissolutions of marriage. Now, when we look through all of those, yes, that had dissolutions of marriage for the last 40 years, yeah, well, you said, well, they have to pay Pope without any due process, right? Without any jurisdiction, and without the actual knowledge of the dissolution of marriage, yes. And then they did not know that you issued two of them. You know, a lot of times it affects the availability of certain professions, yes. So they end up being dishwashers in restaurants? Yes. They end up being prep cooks. Or maybe, if they have any culinary talent, yes, they actually get to be the chef themselves. Now, these restaurants that you've been going to, Sheriff, yes, I want to know every place that you've eaten for the last, 20 years. Yes. Why don't you get me the credit cards of those that are in law enforcement? Yes. Those that are oaths. Those that are attorneys, mandatory reporters, yes, those that are civil rights coordinators. See, it's one thing to enter into an actual restaurant thinking, well, I'm going to order some food, and the individual that's preparing the food for me, they have no legal problems. See, I've worked in kitchens before, and quite often the actual employee at the motherfucking kitchen, they might be on the payroll. Now, I know you're a dog, and you have to eat dog food, but you look so elegant. Yes. I'm going to want to know the food that is supplied to the various restaurants throughout the United States. Yes, he does. Why don't you get me the actual restaurants? Pooch, those that prepare. Right now! Because I'll tell you something, Sheriff. I find that you've been eating at restaurants that have been providing food, yes, that is not fit for sale because you had to feed the dog. The dog. I'm going to be absolutely sure that whatever cook is in the kitchen, yes, that whatever food that they've been putting in the food supply so you could dog yourself, that's right. I'm going to sue you for poisoning the food of those that are restaurant customers. Oh! Now, I'm going to need to know the business licenses of each and every restaurant of the United States. Yes, he's so fucking pissed off.